Yeah, I don't know if it is a question, but it's more an experience for me. When you say if you realize that you become so happy, that it makes you so that's so amazing, that it makes you so happy when you follow your things. And how comes? Why is that?
Well, if happiness is the result or the inevitable consequence of exploring the nature of our experience, the nature of reality, then ignorance of the nature of reality must be the cause of unhappiness. So if happiness is the side effect or the inevitable consequence of recognizing the nature of reality or the nature of ourself, then happiness must be the nature of ourself. Everyone is here because we are all here, because our search for happiness in the world, that is, our search for happiness in objective experience, has to a greater or lesser extent failed us. None of us would be here if our search for happiness had been fulfilled by objective experience, by substances, relationships, activities, states of mind, etc. In fact, we are all here because, to a greater or lesser extent, our search for happiness in objective experience has failed. So we are here hoping to find happiness, hoping to find peace or fulfillment in another direction, a direction which we have yet to explore. A direction which is in a non-objective direction, a directionless direction. And this is the great secret, which is an open secret. It's a secret that is available to everybody. The great secret that for which we long, peace or happiness, can never be found in objective experience. It can only be found in knowing our own being, knowing who we are, as we really are. And the experience of happiness is the inevitable consequence of that search, if we take that search all the way.
Why is it so difficult to stay in it?
It's not difficult. How difficult was it for you to follow our meditation this morning? Was it very difficult? Was it very complicated?
No.
Anybody, any of the 7 billion of us, as long as they understood English, could have been here this morning. They would all have understood what was said. That there isn't a single step that I took that could not have been followed by anybody in their experience. And your question is a beautiful question. Why is happiness the inevitable outcome of this exploration? Yeah. Because happiness is the nature of reality. Happiness is the nature of ourself. It's that simple.
Well, it's so strange that you can, I can experience it here very quickly and immediately, and it is all around me. But to make it a little more personal, I'm an old woman, but I've been falling in love recently very much, and then I had very much the experience that it comes from the outside, from this man I met. But I know underneath that it only outshined of myself, and that he was a mirror to me. But it is still difficult now to make this onderscheid. What is it? Distinction between what is this being falling in love and this what I now experience is really only here in my heart. But now it falls together with somebody else. But
so do you experience the happiness inside of yourself or outside of yourself?
Both. It's
when you say, I understand experiencing happiness within yourself, but when you say you experience happiness outside of yourself, can you describe the experience of happiness that is outside of yourself?
Not really, of course not. But
okay, well, if you can't describe, or if you can't say something about the experience of happiness that takes place outside of yourself, then are you sure it's true when you say the happiness takes place partly within me and partly outside of me?
I know it is an illusion, but it's
No,
strong.
don't go so quickly. It's not an illusion. I'm not suggesting or implying that your happiness is an illusion. All I asked you was, does the experience of happiness take place inside you or outside you?
Inside.
Okay. Now, this happiness that you're feeling now, was it put in from the outside by this man?
No, because when I first met him, I only saw light.
Well, that may be the case, but the question was, did this man take a little packet of happiness which he possesses and place it inside of you? Was that your experience? No. Or did the happiness arise from within you?
It arose from within me.
Okay. And did you ever in your life experience happiness before meeting this man? Please say yes.
Can you repeat? If I had, yes.
I mean, this is not your first taste of happiness, surely.
No.
When you were a young girl,
yes.
You must have tasted happiness, and a teenager, there must have been numerous moments through your life when you experienced happiness.
Yes.
Okay, and each of them had a different cause or an apparent cause. When you were a 5-year-old girl, something happened in your life which triggered the experience of happiness. Yeah, and then whatever it was that triggered the experience of happiness vanished. And later on, a few days or weeks or years later, something else triggered the experience of happiness. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you've had numerous moments in your life that were happy, and each one triggered by an apparently different cause. Yeah. Now, don't tell us about the different causes, but tell us about these moments of happiness. What was the difference between them?
It's long ago. It was strong.
Was there any difference between the experience of happiness when you were a 5-year-old girl The experience of happiness when you were a 15-year-old teenager, the experience of happiness when you were 25 years old. In each of the moments of happiness, was the happiness itself the same experience or a different experience?
I think it had the same root.
No, that may be so, but it wasn't the question. The question was the actual experience of happiness always the same experience? Or did happiness once come in a chocolate-colored flavor, and happiness come in a...
No, but the awareness...
No, I'm just asking you about the experience of happiness. Is it always the same experience, or do you experience lots of different types of happiness? Or is happiness simply happiness?
Yes, simply happiness.
Good, okay. So, if you have experienced happiness, that the happiness that you now feel that has been triggered by your new friend, if that happiness is the same experience that you experienced last year and 10 years ago and 20 years ago and 40 years ago, then this happiness cannot be caused by your friend.
No, that's true. That's true.
That's very important for you to understand, because if you don't understand that, in a couple of years' time, your friend will disappoint you. If you want this new relationship to be a loving and lasting relationship, you have to withdraw your projection from him right at the beginning. He is not the cause of your happiness. And if you hold him responsible for your happiness, sooner or later, and probably sooner rather than later, you will begin to feel dissatisfied. The perfect man, is he sitting next to you by any chance?
No.
No, he's not here, okay. The perfect man that he now seems to be will gradually start to show imperfections.
Sure. Yeah.
And you will start to be disappointed in him. And you will start to blame him for not causing you happiness. And that blame will turn into resentment. And that resentment will turn into anger. And you will start to dislike the man that you are now in love with because he fails to produce happiness for you. So if you want to have a relationship that is free of blame and resentment and conflict, then you have to withdraw that projection now. He is not the cause of your happiness, and he is not responsible for it. The happiness that you are experiencing, something about the meeting with this man has caused your thoughts and feelings, that the tension of your seeking all these years, your tension has relaxed. And as a result of that relaxation, the nature of yourself, which is pure happiness, is now shining in your experience. It was always there, but it was buried by this tension that you felt, this longing for friendship, this longing for relationship. And that longing caused you to lose touch with your innate happiness. Now that tension has been relieved through the meeting of this friend. And as that tension subsides, the happiness which is your nature is shining through. That's beautiful. But don't allow your friend to be a cause of your happiness. He's not responsible for your happiness, and that is the secret of a truly loving and intimate relationship. That will give your relationship the best possible chance of developing into a truly loving, intimate relationship.
Well, thank you very much. This is a very great help. But I'm 75, and I was so amazed that this happened in my life. And it's a great a gift. But of course I realized I had to withdraw my projection. But there was also an awareness of that something in me hasn't changed from this little girl and all my life, that it's still the same, exactly the same.
Yes. If I were to ask you, that in you which now feels in love, how old is she?
Yeah.
What would you say?
Well, maybe 5.
Maybe, exactly, maybe 5, which is another way of saying she doesn't really have an age. She's not 75.
No.
She's innocent.
No.
She's just
Yes.
pure openness, pure joy.
Yeah.
Because who you really are doesn't have an age. It is the same self now
Yes.
that you were when you were 5 years old. And nothing has happened to that self all through your life. No experience has tarnished you.
No.
Or aged you, or changed you. And now, as a result of this beautiful friendship, that something has dropped, the tension in you has dropped, and yourself, the self that you always are, is shining as it is, ageless, innocent, full of joy.
That's true. Very
So
true.
what is important in the relationship is not to preserve that in the relationship and to allow the relationship, presumably he is feeling the same thing. So the relationship is this sharing, this celebrating of these two innocent, ageless beings. What is your task now is not to let the differences, the relative differences, thoughts, feelings, tarnish this innocence, this ageless, joyful innocence of yourself.